What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 22 My Team career mode. Last time out we were at the Imola Grand Prix, and after a poor qualifying and a DNF in the sprint race we managed to come back and get P3 thanks to an absolutely incredible and inspired strategy call from myself to basically completely ignore what the team were telling me to do and see if I could take a set of inters to the end of the Grand Prix from the very beginning. And yeah, we managed to pull it off. We managed to hold on to third place in the end, losing out only to the Red Bulls, who were on the same strategy as myself. This time we're going to be in Miami, and yeah, this is a track that I'm actually growing to quite like a little bit since it's been introduced to the game. I wasn't sure how I felt about it when it first got introduced, but having done it sort of maybe, you know, this will be what, the 5th time? I think this has been in every season of career mode that we've done so far. So having done it in every single one now, I can say that, yeah, I think it's pretty fun. I'm pretty fast around here, even with that long back straight. I still quite enjoy it. So yeah, I'm hoping that we'll be able to pick up another win here, like we have in a previous season. I think it was season 4. We won here, if I remember correctly. So I'm hoping that here in season 5 we will be able to do the same thing. And yeah, that would be really quite amazing for our championship chances if we were capable of winning here. You know, we would go very far ahead of the competition already at an early stage in the season, and coming into what is a difficult time in the season for me would put us quite far ahead. You know, there's a few races coming up soon, like Spain and Monaco and Canada and all those kinds of Grand Prix that I don't really enjoy those tracks very much, and I don't tend to do very well around them. So yeah, if we can be leading the championship comprehensively, we can probably hold on until Britain, which is obviously one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. I'm sure we all know that by now. We finished P2 and P7 in practice, and you can see that yeah, I'm pretty quick. The only person that was faster than me was Leclerc. Sometimes they have freak results, you know, so I wasn't too concerned that he was faster than me, even if it was by sort of 3 or 4 tenths. I was still thinking that quite comfortably we would be able to make it to Q3 and probably, you know, qualify on the front row at a minimum. But you know, I'm sure Pourchaire will be a quick customer as well. He has been so far this season, but he does need to find a string of results soon. You know, he's on what, 30 points this season. I think he's had a P2 and a P4, and well, actually no, it was a P2, and then he had points in the sprint and points in the race in Imola. I think it was a 5th and 6th in the sprint and race respectively. So yeah, he needs to start picking up points soon, because if we're not leading this Constructors' Championship at the halfway point of the season, I might have to make some decisions I don't really want to make, you know? Like I can't really justify keeping him on the team when he is potentially costing us our chance at winning this championship, when I could maybe get someone else who would be able to do it. We do 2 runs on the same set of tyres in Q1 actually. We end up setting a 1:26.8, which at the time when I do it is fastest, and I was thinking it was a pretty hot time. But yeah, at the end of the session you can see that we only finished P14 in the end, so we weren't far away from being knocked out. Leclerc still comprehensively fastest, and we're going to have to do something quite impressive to beat him out. Guan Yu Zhou, perhaps the only surprise exit there in Q1 rather, but you know, he really has not been finding much form in that Mercedes. I really, you know, given that Mercedes is supposed to be the 2nd best car on the grid, you can either read into that this is you know, a very competitive season among all cars, or Zhou is having a very poor season, or both, as Russell actually sets the fastest time there, his teammate, you can see. So yeah, I'm not sure which it would be, but yeah, we come onto Q2 now. We're on our 2nd flying lap on a new set of tyres now, and we made a big improvement over our used set run, 1:26.7, and in the end that is good enough to put us P3. If I qualified there, I wouldn't be too upset, but ideally I'm looking at wanting to get at least, you know, I say at least, I was going to say looking at getting pole position, ideally. The Haas's are 11th and 12th there, which is a brilliant result for them. We got Yuki Tsunoda through to Q3 in the AlphaTauri as well, so I'm thinking that this is a pretty competitive season. You know, we got both Jaguars, both Red Bulls, and both Ferraris through. But then we got a Mercedes, an Alpine, a McLaren, and an AlphaTauri. So that's 7 teams making it through to Q3, and that's something you always love to see. I think that happened in Saudi Arabia as well, didn't it? In real life, you had the McLaren of Piastri. You had, actually no, I think it must have been 6 teams, because I'm pretty sure both Alpines made it through, didn't they? And then obviously you had the Aston Martins, Red Bulls, Mercedes and Ferraris. Anyway, moving forward, you can see we're coming to the end of our qualifying session now, 7/10 up on our first lap. It's a 1:26.2. Is it good enough to get us pole? It is indeed. And that is I think our 3rd pole here, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but I definitely remember taking at least 1 pole historically. Pourchaire didn't seem to get a good run in at the end of the session because he set 1:27.4 and is P10. But we have some solace in this, which is that the Red Bulls are 5th and 6th and the Ferraris are 8th and 9th. So neither of them had a particularly good qualifying session, outperformed by Norris, Russell and Tsunoda, as well as myself, of course. So yeah, that is quite nice to see. You can see that Leclerc here is being comprehensively beaten by me. We do actually have a chance to wrap up this rivalry in this very race, and if we do, then we'll be bumping the difficulty up to 85. The only way that we won't is if Leclerc wins the races and we DNF in both of the next ones. I think that's about the only way that he could get ahead of us at this point. So yeah, we'll be gunning for that not to happen, but it's Formula 1, anything can happen. We've already had 1 DNF this season. Fortunately, if you watch the previous video, you will know that actually helped me, because I don't think I would have gone for the strategy we went for if we'd have been in a more comfortable position. If we'd have been in sort of say P6 or something like that, I might not have done it. So it helped me improve my position in the end. So yeah, with pole position wrapped up, I think the target here is pretty clear. We want to win the Grand Prix. If we win this Grand Prix, we'll have taken 4 wins of the first 5 races of the season. And even if we go on a bad run of form, which we usually do in the sort of middle section of the season, sort of the later half of the first half of the season, yeah, that would be ideal for us. And now it's time to get into the race.
Arrived in the Sunshine State for spectacular sunsets, gentle breezes, warm waters, and for what will be a fantastic race day here at the Miami International Autodrome. Sitting at the southeastern coast of Florida, the Miami International Autodrome has 19 corners and 3.36 miles of racing. It's a circuit designed to encourage close racing while meeting the highest safety standards. Either way, I'm sure it's one that will please the fans. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Robinson lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and Fernando Alonso. Leclerc, Sainz, Tsunoda, and Théo Pourchaire. Oscar Piastri, Mick Schumacher, Esteban Ocon, and Albon. Ricciardo, Gasly, Guan Yu Zhou, and Robert Schwartzman. Latifi, Lundgaard, Stroll, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for today's race. Now I want to ask you about Yuki Tsunoda. They've got that grid penalty to worry about, of course, which puts them on the back foot from the get-go.
Yes, it's not the position you want to be in at the start of the Grand Prix. Penalties like this put you in amongst the traffic. But we know they have more pace than those around them, so I expect they'll make some strong progress in the first few laps.
Okay, now that we've got some good points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Tsunoda's got more pace than the cars are... Really? They think that? It's a bit of a shame that he took that grid penalty, given that he had a really strong qualifying. I think it was only 5 places, so he's starting behind the Ferraris. It could be a lot worse for him, but yeah, faster than the cars around him. They think he's faster than the Ferraris. I find that hard to believe. In any case, we line up on the grid. We do get a good parking this time. Ever since we had that poor parking, I think it was in the sprint in Imola, I've been very careful about it. Even if we're not going for 0.1s anymore, we're just trying to get into the purple zone. Everyone around me is starting on mediums, feeling like a bit of an outsider right now. But the lights come on, and the lights go out, and it's a pretty good start, unsurprisingly. You know, we're on the soft compound tyres, everyone around me on the mediums. You'd expect me to get a better getaway than everyone else. I think Norris didn't have a particularly good start anyway. Verstappen already up into P3, challenging George Russell as well. Ooh, but Russell is fighting back there, I think, as well. We're going to see who comes out on top of this one. I think Russell is just about going to hold on to the position for now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Verstappen has another go at him at some point later in the course of the lap. Already they're about 2 seconds down on me, and it's only Norris who's even close, and he's about a second down on me at this stage as well. So yeah, we've had the getaway of dreams, the way I see it, and yeah, that's perhaps a little bit more than I was really expecting, but I'm not going to complain about it. You know, I just wasn't thinking that we would get such an extreme start, even if we were on a better compound of tyres. You know, the AI is usually pretty rapid around this track in just about every part of it except the one we are currently in, the Mickey Mouse section, as some people call it. If anyone knows why it's called the Mickey Mouse section, feel free to leave a comment below, because I just heard someone say it in a YouTube video once, and then I started saying it as well, but I have no clue what the context behind people calling it that is. So if you know the context, feel free to leave a comment about it. And whilst I'm on that topic of people interacting with my video, did you know that 60% of the people that watch these videos aren't subscribed to my channel? What are you doing? Come on. If you've watched this far, give me a subscribe, you know? Anyway, we set the fastest lap on our first lap, unsurprisingly, and we've already broken out of Norris's DRS range. So yeah, that's pretty encouraging to see. Lap 5 we move on to now, and you can see that we have a strategy change. They think that these soft tyres aren't going to last up until lap 9 like previously expected. They think it would be more beneficial for us to change off them a lap earlier. So now, if a safety car gets called on lap 9, I'm going to scream at the top of my lungs, because that would have not been a problem for us, but it will be a major problem for us if that happens now. However, yeah, Norris is closing us down a little bit compared to where he was before, I think, at this stage. He just, you know, is starting to find a bit more pace in those medium tyres. I'm losing a bit of grip in these soft compound tyres. Keep in mind that these are a used set of soft compound tyres, so I had actually used them for at least one of my quali laps as well. And as a result, you can see that Norris is, yeah, reeling me in, especially in sort of the straights and the DRS zones and things like that. And as we move on to lap 6 now, I imagine this gap is only going to come down. I don't know if he got DRS on this occasion. I think he just about did. Yeah, you can see he's reeling me in down to about 5/10. Mickey Mouse section I will still be faster in, even if I don't have the grip. So the gap's down to about a second. I think he gets DRS here, not sure. And now the gap has closed down to about 7/10, 6/10, something like that. You can see that he is closing me in rapidly all of a sudden. And, you know, with the DRS, it might even be fast enough to have a go at me here into turn 1. You can see he's moving to the inside, maybe having a little bit of a look up the inside. He goes up the inside, but we hold him off around the outside. So, yeah, we do have at least a little bit of grip left in these tyres by the looks of things. He wasn't quite able to make the move up my inside on this occasion, and we retain the lead of the Grand Prix for now. We don't concede it to him like we did in Season 2 on the first lap of the Grand Prix. We hold on to the lead, and yeah, we make it to the end of the stint in the lead of the race as well, as we come in on lap 8, and we're going to be setting the medium tyres on our car for the remainder of the Grand Prix. I imagine these guys will be doing a medium hard. I think that the hardest part of this race for us will now be over. You guys all know I really struggle on the first stint, but then when we move into the second stint, I usually find a bit more pace, and I'm sure that this race will be no exception. Let's see where we come out. We're going to be towards the back, I think. We're going to be ahead of not Lundgaard. We almost crashed into him there, actually. I think we're going to stay ahead of Latifi unless he tries to mount a challenge on us while we try and do tyre warm-up. I had to check to see if we had damage there, because I don't play with the sound turned on. So, yeah, I really wasn't sure whether Lundgaard had hit us or not, but it looks like he didn't. So, we hold on for the time being, and yeah, hopefully we will be able to move past him sooner rather than later, because he is going to turn himself into a nuisance very quickly, I think, if we don't get ahead of him. I imagine he'll be boxing pretty soon anyway if he's on those soft compound tyres, but he still, you know, not really living up to the potential that he showed in his junior career at that Alfa Romeo seat. You know, he was with us for half a season, and then the car got worse, so he decided he didn't want to come back, which was fair enough. And then we've got Schwartzman instead, who also is now partnered up with Lundgaard at Alfa Romeo. And yeah, neither of them really delivering on their early career potential. One driver who is starting to deliver on his early career potential is Oscar Piastri, who yeah, qualified I think either 11th or 12th, and has had a Q3 appearance I think in China as well. We try and go up the inside of Lundgaard, but he sees it too late and turns in on us. I have to check we don't have any damage there, but he yeah, he really wants to hold on to this position for some reason, even though he's not pitted yet. I don't get why some cars are so desperate to do this. You don't need to fight this hard when you're on an older set of tyres and you're battling someone who's already pitted. You know, this is, if anything, going to really damage my chances of staying ahead of Norris out of the pit stop phase. So we'll have to wait and see whether we're going to be ahead of Norris at the end of the pit stops or not. We've now got ahead of Lundgaard at least, and we're going to try and close down Kevin Magnussen, see if we can get ahead of him and navigate this maze of back markers to get into some clear air and hopefully close the gap to Norris before he pits off of those medium tyres. And we will see where we shake out, whether we're going to have to try and do an overtake on him on track. Someone we all have to overtake here is Kevin Magnussen in that Aston Martin, having an absolutely torrid time. I think this is his third season with Aston Martin now, and still it's bore basically no fruit for him whatsoever. You know, it definitely, I think, looking at where the Hasses are this season compared to the Aston Martins, you'd have to say that was not a particularly smart move on his behalf. But, you know, he's made his bed, and now it's time for him to lie in it. We got ahead of him, and now we're closing down Joe and Schwartzman up ahead. We're going to see if we can overtake them. We're actually going up the inside, and that was a very reckless move. Yeah, unsurprisingly... Oh, I'm keeping my foot in. Okay. We just barged Schwartzman out the way there without even touching him. But, yeah, I just said, sorry, this is my corner, mate. Away you go. Yeah, that was exceedingly reckless overtake from myself. I don't really know what I was thinking there. But, yeah, for some reason I decided that I was going to dive up there inside at speed with no real aim of making the corner. And it worked for overtaking Joe. It didn't work on overtaking Schwartzman. We had to get our elbows out a little bit there. Very reckless overtake. Could have ended badly for all of us. Fortunately, it didn't. But, yeah, it looked like I'd been getting overtaking lessons from my teammate Teo Pourchaire there with how reckless that was. Obviously that is a reference to the Saudi Arabian Formula 2 race that happened this weekend. If you didn't watch that, yeah, and you won't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, Teo Pourchaire was a very naughty boy. We are now getting ahead of a few cars as they come into the pits, the likes of Russell and Verstappen, who were a lot closer to me before the pit stop phase. You know, I'm sort of about 5 seconds ahead of them now, which makes me think that I'm going to come out significantly further ahead of Norris as well, if that sort of gap is to be believed. It seems like I've gained on them quite a lot over the course of the laps that I've been on the medium tyres. So we'll find out for certain now, as I think everyone else is coming in. Pourchaire, Perez, Sainz and Norris all in the pits. We're going to get ahead of all of them, and we will see where we come out in relation to these guys once they leave the pits. But you can see that I am definitely very far ahead of them. I was thinking maybe even Russell might be moving into P2 here. I think Norris is just about going to hold on to it actually, but yeah, Perez has managed to jump Russell and Verstappen actually with an overcut by the looks of things. I'm about 6 seconds ahead of the pack, but yeah, Verstappen will be livid. He was in P3 and now he's in P5. Speaking of flop Aston Martins, this is Lance Stroll DNFing for I think the second or third race in a row now, and yeah, they really just can't get a handle on that durability problem. They had a lot of DNFs in the early stage of last season. I remember I joked about every race that Kevin Magnussen DNFs in was a race I was winning, because he DNF'd in Saudi Arabia, China, and in Miami, which were the first 3 races I won last season. And yeah, it's looking like Lance Stroll is going no further in this Grand Prix, much like he didn't in Imola either. He definitely had a DNF there. I remember that, and I think he might have had one in China as well. I can't remember. Either way, it's quite a shock to see him sort of down and out like that. You know, again so soon after his previous DNF. But you know, we're just moving forward, lap 22 now, and you can see that we're basically just checking out of this Grand Prix, 7 seconds ahead of Lando Norris. I don't think anything can really stop us, save for a DNF at this point. So I'm going to try my best to hope that that doesn't happen. You know, we had one last Grand Prix weekend, so it'd be pretty shit if we had one this time around as well. But you know, stranger things have happened. I had 2 DNFs in a row on my driver career save that I do on my Twitch stream, which if you don't follow me on Twitch, link in the description. I definitely recommend hitting me up with a follow. I've started a new driver career over on my my Twitch channel now, which is going to be exclusive to that, won't be uploaded to YouTube in any capacity. So if you want to see me play even more of this game, then I definitely would recommend going and following me over there. But yeah, we had 2 back-to-back DNFs in F2 due to mechanical failures, and then in the very next race we had a mechanical issue as well, which caused our car to be significantly slower. So it was a pretty miserable run of races in that regard, but we managed to turn it around eventually. And yeah, I mean, I won't spoil what happens. If you want to find out what's going on in that season, then you're going to have to go and check it out for yourself. We move on to lap 26 of 29, only 4 to go now, and I think we're pretty much just plain sailing at this point. You know, the gap to Norris is still about 8 seconds. Even if he does start finding a bit more life in those tyres compared to me, it's just too little too late. You know, he's not going to make up 2-3 seconds a lap on me per lap. These tyres won't go off the cliff to that extent. So yeah, I think we're just kind of chilling and seeing if we can get past these guys as quickly as possible. So eventually we can win the Grand Prix and yeah, extend our lead at the top for I don't even know what it will be at that point. It'll be about 30 points, I think, or something like that. It'll be yeah, really cool. Perez will be on the podium again, so that's only 10 points that I'm building against him, but still, something's better than nothing. He did have that podium finish last Grand Prix, you may remember, and yeah, we came home to finish P3 in that race. I think he actually won it, now I remember. So yeah, he regained a few points, and we're repaying the favour on this occasion. So yeah, Perez looks to be my closest championship rival, but even then, it's not super close. The gap is already 17 points, and that was in a Grand Prix weekend where I had a DNF at one point. So yeah, he doesn't look like he's going to be challenging me too much over the course of this season, if I had to guess. One person who definitely doesn't look like he's going to be challenging me over the course of the season, which is disappointing because I was really hoping he would be, is Pourchaire. And yeah, the more I look at that, the more I look at where he is so far this season, the more I think to myself, I really don't know if I'm going to keep him even for the second half of the season. You know, if we are leading the Constructors' Championship at the halfway point, I'll probably hold on to him. But if we're not, then I think it's going to have to be bye-bye for Pourchaire, because I have a very clear goal of what we're going to do, but I can tell you with certainty he won't last more than this season at this rate. We crossed the line, take the win, and yeah, it was fairly comfortable in the end. That second stint, we just were miles ahead of everyone else, and this is turning into a pretty dominant season of Formula 1, to be honest. You know, I'm sure things will change soon when we move to some of the tracks I'm not quite so good at, but for now, we're absolutely cruising.
Win today then, after a very difficult race. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Well, what a thrilling end to an incredible Grand Prix weekend. Our top 3 finishers should be incredibly happy with what they were able to achieve out there today.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with what I achieved. I think Perez won't be happy because he knows that his best shot so far of getting a world championship in Formula 1 is being crushed by me, no less. So he needs to get a good string of results together. He's got some good tracks for him coming up soon-ish. We got Spain next, but after that, it's Monaco and Baku, which, you know, You know Perez is good at those circuits. He is a street circuit master. They've started calling him after his win in Jeddah in real life, and I'm sure that he will put up a good account of himself in those races.
Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Robinson. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace, something that's a very handy skill to have in modern-day Formula One.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
So we're still leading both championships. We actually do increase our lead in the constructors, even if it's only by a few points. It's better than nothing. So I will definitely take that and run with it. And we are looking pretty hot to do the double this season so far. I definitely think I'm going to be defending this championship if my good fortune continues. Obviously, we got a bit lucky with some of the results that we've had this season so far, but you know, everyone needs a little bit of luck. At some point, my luck will run out, I'm sure people will say, but let's just hope that's not till next season. If I can become a double world champion, that'd be absolutely incredible. You know, there's some very talented people who are double world champions, like Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc in this save as a double world champion. I'm trying to think who else. Only got 2 world championships. Hakkinen is another one, pretty sure. Yeah, like a really elite club of drivers I have an immense amount of historical respect for. You know, I was a bit too young to ever watch Hakkinen win, but I know that, you know, he has the reputation of a driver who could bring it to Michael Schumacher when I was going to say when no one else really could, but obviously Michael Schumacher didn't win the championships the seasons before Hakkinen won either. That was maybe due to the fact that Williams had the dominant car at that point. However, you know, I wasn't around. I won't pretend. All I can say on that era of Formula One is what I know from what the records show and what accounts that people who were there at the time have said about it. People like Damon Hill, Villeneuve, you know, they've had their fair share of thoughts on what has happened in those scenarios. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling about Hakkinen at this point, but in any case, yeah, if we can do the double this season, that would be absolutely amazing. That's kind of the aim of F1 22 My Team Career Mode, is to win both championships. The Drivers' Championship, like I said, we're looking good for. The Constructors' Championship, as I was saying before, if we aren't winning that at the halfway point of the season, I think I'm going to need to let Pourchaire go and try and get in a stronger driver to give myself a leg up. For that reason, I'm going to be saving up most of my cash that I make between now and the halfway point of the season, because a lot of drivers' buyouts are extremely expensive at this point, and we might need to get all the cash we can get to be able to afford to get them mid-season. You know, usually if I was thinking about doing that at the start of the season, I would have potentially thought about grabbing, like keeping hold of some of the cash that we got from the bonuses, but I didn't do that because I wasn't sure that we would be getting rid of Pourchaire. But now I know that he definitely won't last till the end of till next season. You know, season 6 we will absolutely have a different teammate. It's just a case of whether Pourchaire lasts for the remainder of the season or not. But he needs to get his act together very, very quickly. We can't be having too many more repeats of this kind of performance. You know, P10 in qualifying and then only making it up to P8 in the race. It's simply not good enough from him. We need more. We need better performances. To see if he performs better in Spain, make sure you like and subscribe this video. And yeah, hopefully I will see you in the next one.